Mick Cronin apologizes, but bruh, you still need you some Jesus. USC lands California's best wide receiver in the 2027 recruiting class, and the Dodgers will open their spring training schedule today. Good morning. I'm James, and this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelinos Morning Report. It is February 21st, 2026. Welcome back to the home office. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, we have an expanded look at the scoreboard today before we get to the news, because last night, Inter-city rivalry. The Lakers edged the Clippers 125 to 122. The Lakers played with fire and survived. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves held the whole team finally healthy for how long? And they barely survived. The Clippers played the night before. They should have been gassed. The Lakers barely survived. More reasons. Kawhi Leonard left with 5 minutes to go due to ankle soreness. The Lakers barely survive. Hell, the Clippers had a shot to tie the game. So why did they barely survive? Because they don't play a lick of defense. Both teams shot over 50%. But the halftime highlights were just really telling. They illustrated how the Lakers can't even execute a double team correctly. Clippers coach Ty Lue said before the tip-off that despite a flurry of trades, the team is playing to win, and I believe every word he's saying. All that talk you're hearing now in the NBA about teams tanking does not apply to the team from Intuit Arena. Doncic did score a game-high 38. Reeves added 29 for the Lakers. Leonard, though, tallied 31 for the Clips. We do not know if he'll miss any playing time yet due to that ankle. And Benedict Mathurin, that dude is instant offense off the bench with 26. Meanwhile, today, 10th ranked Illinois is at UCLA at 5. The Bruins held a players-only meeting after that ugly loss at Michigan State. They know damn well they're on the bubble. Oregon is at USC at 1 o'clock. And Inter Miami is at LAFC at 6:30. That's at the LA Coliseum, which seems appropriate when you're playing the season opener against the defending MLS Cup champs and that Lionel Messi guy. Now, if you're a fan of the black and gold, I admit I'm curious what tactical changes are coming from new manager Mark Dos Santos. Because when Steve Cherundolo replaced Bob Bradley, dude made just one tweak. And that's how the black and gold won their MLS Cup. But with that out of the way, let's get to the news. Longtime viewers of this program know I make a half-baked attempt to live biblically. I know damn well I'm a failure at it. I also know I shouldn't be saying damn. What are you going to do? So what should we make of UCLA coach Mick Cronin's apology yesterday for some of his behavior after a loss at Michigan State? Some of his behavior he apologized for. He told the Scribes Friday that he apologized to reserve Stephen Jamerson for yanking him off the court and sending him to the locker room after the player was assessed a flagrant 1. Quote, I thought he literally made a dirty play and tried to wipe the guy out. Once I saw the film, he still got an F1. To be honest with you, I don't even know if he deserved that, unquote. And then he spoke so glowingly of Jamerson. Man, all the glow up. Feel the glow. Quote, Steve is everything that's good about college basketball. He's everything that I believe in about college basketball. Now, Cronin didn't apologize to the reporter that he dissed in the post-game presser. To be honest, not that big a deal. Longtime viewers know I'm a former Scribe, and trust me, I know from experience, getting clowned by players and coaches comes with the territory. So if that reporter was looking for a mea culpa, you ain't getting one. Part of the gig. Cronin also added that he admits having a problem with being too candid in his comments. You don't say. Now, let's pause for a moment. I truly believe Cronin apologized. UCLA guard Sky Clark affirmed that the apology happened, and he added that he thought the coach was, quote, pretty sincere, unquote. And going back to the whole talk about faith, I hope Cronin's apology was accepted by the player. Forgiveness is important. I believe the world would be better off if we sought forgiveness more and granted forgiveness more. But I still think Cronin needs therapy or an intervention. Maybe he needs to head out to the desert and chew on some peyote until he hallucinates about the Great Spirit, whatever. Because his behavior isn't a one-off. It has been a pattern we've been talking about for years on this channel. And I think this might be the first time he's apologized. When Pat Riley coached the Lakers back in the day, he used to call it temporary insanity. You can lose it on your players once in a blue moon, but it loses its impact if you keep doing it. And it won't have any positive effect if you drag people in public, which is what Cronin does on a regular basis. Cronin went on to say, quote, I know I'm not bigger than the brand, and the brand matters here. The school matters. The last thing I want to do is bring negative publicity to our school, unquote. But he has been for years. Now, you guys may not know this. I want you to consider this for a moment. The post-game interviews that you see on TV on the court, the beat writers don't get that 30-second access. Instead, the scribes, they get up, they waddle away from press row, and then they hang outside the locker room like the losers that we are, while the coaches and players are behind closed doors chatting up what happened. And often it ain't just idle chit-chat. I've heard screaming through those walls. But those post-game meetings can take 15, 20 minutes, sometimes longer. And I can imagine, if you're upset, can you really imagine yelling for more than 20 minutes? Really? You'd be pretty unhinged if you did. So you vent your spleen, you come out, you've thought things over after just releasing all of that energy. You've held people accountable in private. And now you would think in public, every other coach, they start choosing different words. They start covering for their players. What this tells me is that Cronin loses it behind closed doors for 15, 20 minutes, and he's even angrier when he's done. Even my dad didn't yell at me nonstop for half an hour or more. Why do you think Dodger players are so willing to run through a wall for Dave Roberts? It's because he never drags them publicly. Do you really get the sense that UCLA players are going to sell out like that? Because I don't. And why the hell would you play for him if you're an elite high school recruit? There's a reason Cronin focuses so heavily on the transfer portal. This impacts not just the locker room after one game. Cronin legit needs to rethink how he approaches his personality. Now look, the churchgoer in me hopes Cronin's apology is a signal that he's going to turn over a new leaf. For real. But the cynic in me thinks Cronin apologized because he's dragging UCLA into the gutter and his job is in jeopardy. I don't know for sure. But if you're a UCLA fan, you let me know what you think. I'd be interested. Yeah, you should accept apologies with grace. But you also, after you apologize, have to change your behavior. It's part and parcel. USC football has landed its second top 100 recruit for the class of 2027. Wide receiver Quentin Hale comes from the IE, no less. Well, actually, he technically grew up in Watts, but he's in the IE now. He's a 4-star rated receiver from Corona and ranked number 58 on ESPN's list, which, by the way, makes him far and away the creme de la creme of a 4-man class so far for the Trojans. Over 2 seasons, dude has 125 receptions for more than 1,800 yards and 26 touchdowns. For those curious, USC sources then went back and told ESPN that yes, they totally understand the level of athlete that the Trojans can land if they dominate SoCal recruiting, which is exactly their approach last year. For the Dodgers, Cactus League begins today against Anacrime. Yoshinobu Yamamoto will make his one start for the Boys in Blue before heading to the World Baseball Classic. Shohei Ohtani, meanwhile, will not pitch before heading off to play for Japan. Yesterday, we discussed Freddie Freeman saying that he wants to play for the Dodgers until he's 40 because he loves playing in LA. And if that wasn't enough to cue the Randy Newman, know this: Dodger president Andrew Friedman got all up in his feelings too. Quote, "I don't want to picture him in another uniform. And so our hope is that he does finish his career here and hopefully has some more rings on his fingers. The impact he's had is not lost on us," unquote. Now, for the record, Freeman is 36. He's got 2 years left on his contract. You're smart enough. You can do the math. Meanwhile, Gavin Stone, who is trying to recover from shoulder surgery, hit 96 pitching to hitters earlier this week. To be clear, his fastball's not his primary pitch. It's the changeup. But as you can imagine, fastball sets up your change. Should he make the team, the Dodgers have been clear in saying that he will not pitch a full season, obviously trying to make sure that shoulder can hold up. Do you remember Will Klein's performance in the World Series? Of course you do. Of course you do. Even he has to fight for a spot on this team. Now, the coaching staff for the pitchers, they're trying to change his curveball. They like his grip on the curveball. They think if he adjusts it, it'll look more like a slider. Now, his old slider moved horizontally less than an inch. The new version allegedly breaks damn near 10 inches. And yeah, I've realized what it sounds like when I'm talking about something that's less than an inch to damn near 10. Let's all get our minds out of the gutter. Anyway, Brock Stewart was last year's trade deadline acquisition. He only made 4 appearances for the Dodgers. He told the LA Daily News that he should return to the majors in, quote, maybe a month or so into the season. We'll see, unquote. Did you know? Bronny James is back in the G League. Of course, but of course. Do I know how he's doing? Of course not. Why would I? Of course not. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about last night's Lakers-Clippers tilt. Or for that matter, do you think that Mick Cronin actually is going to change his ways as he tries to rebuild UCLA's basketball program? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelinos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.